Okay, let's call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Vidlac.
Here.
Phillips.
Here.
Stricker.
Here.
McCarrigan. Here. Solomon.
Here.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For public information, a copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is available for review. Notice of changes in the agenda by the city clerk. Additions may not be made to this agenda less than 24 hours before the beginning of the meeting unless added under item 5 of this agenda.
No changes.
Okay. Citizens with business not scheduled on the agenda as required by state law, no matter may be considered under this item unless council determines that the matter requires emergency action. Do we have any emergency action? Okay, closed session. Council reserves the right to enter into closed session if deemed necessary if the item is on the agenda as per section 84-1410 of the Nebraska Revised Statutes. Consent calendar. Items in the consent calendar are proposed for adoption by one action for all items unless any member of the council requests that an item be considered separately.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
Any questions, comments on that? Okay,
Phillips.
Yes.
Solomon.
Yes.
McCarrigan. Yes. Stricker.
Yes.
Vidlac.
yes. Claim removed from consent calendar. Council to consider and take action on the claim to Intralinks in the amount of $12,224.16.
I need to declare a conflict.
Make a motion to accept Scott's conflict.
I'll second.
Okay, any comments or questions on that? Okay,
Solomon.
Yes.
McCarrigan. Yes. Stricker.
Yes.
Vidlac.
yes. Council to consider and take action on the claim to Intralinks in the amount of $12,224.16.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, just to give you kind of an itemized accounting of that, there is $987,000, or wait a minute, wow, $987 one-time fee for Microsoft SQL for our server, and that's over at the PD. There's a couple small items, a 7-foot cable and then a Netgear 5-port switch, thank you. And there is a 2-year fee for our Sonic wall, which is our firewall, so it's a big piece of our security. And then we got our data Alto backup, and you're gonna see that every month. And then the standard fee for, I think it's $7,525. So all of that adds up to the $12,000 figure, so.
Any questions, comments on that? Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Any other comments or questions? Okay,
Stricker.
Yes.
Vidlac.
yes.
Solomon.
Yes.
McCarrigan. Yes.
Okay, financial report. Council to receive the October 2025 financial report.
And Lane's gonna come around. He's gonna leave his station.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Lane Desire, Finance Director. First year of the fiscal year, first month of the fiscal year. So not really a lot that happened. LARM is the big one. And that's the one that you see on that first page is the reason for the net month and change in cash from last month to this month is, you know, over $1 million of that is LARM, the premium renewal. So, but we do that once and it's done. So that's out of the way. On this one, I did notice my mistake. I had left bond payments on there in street. That'll come out in this. You guys just approved that in the claims. So that'll be next month. I had left that on there as a note for me to do this. I did this on Veterans Day, and so I couldn't call the bank to figure out our invoice situation. So that was a note that I left on there for myself. And then the next page is just the budget to actual comparisons. Thank you, Kim. And that's just going to be your expenditure. So again, we're 8% through the fiscal year. So that's kind of where you want to see everything on that. The top two columns is right around 8%, and everything's there or less. General fund is a little over that. A lot of that has to do with the alarm payment though. It's a big chunk right out of the gate, so. And then on the flip side, the revenues, really the ones I want to point out is the proprietary fund, so environmental services, wastewater, water, stormwater. Those ones are all above 8%, so I'm just kind of projecting for the future, where we'll be at the end of the year. Other than that, I don't really have anything first part of the month. The audit, we will start that next week. We will be, we have preliminary the Monday and Tuesday, and then December 16th that week is, we're scheduled for their actual, where they're gonna be working with me every single day. They have that from December 16th to January 9th, and so with the holidays and stuff, there's a few days where they're not really working on anything, but, so I would anticipate that being done much sooner this year than previous 2 years. I don't think we even started until February last year, so nice that we're getting it done in November and December this year, so.
Lane, how close did we come with our projections for the last fiscal year? Were we pretty close?
Pretty good, Matt.
Okay. I don't know if we were over and if you were.
No, we were, you know, on our expenditures, of course, we're under probably 14, 15 million on the expenditures, but there's a lot of contingencies that are built into the budget. So, you know, obviously the audit will change things too. There's, you know, they'll take into consideration depreciation and things like that in those proprietary funds. So it'll change some of the expenditures. What you see in the financial statements that the auditors will present is gonna look very different than what I give you. What I give you is cash in, cash out. And what they're gonna give you is the whole picture, so.
Okay.
In Lane, we had a lot of projects roll over, like the transfer station.
Big
We had
one,
over
yeah.
$2 million in that budget that rolled over into $3 million, so that's another reason why that figure's so
Okay.
Just one quick question on the fund equity and cash, the special projects, that's a pretty big one with that.
Special project, let's look.
About the fifth,
Was that ARPA? I'm guessing ARPA,
okay.
off the top of my head.
Okay.
Or was it Safe Streets for All and ARPA combined?
What page are you on, Jerry?
It's the fund equity and cash, it's the,
Fund equity and cash?
yeah.
It'll be
On,
215.
Page 194 on mine anyway. On my packet.
It's
Oh,
fund.
you know, those were, yeah, it was some ARPA, adjusting journal entries, pushing some ARPA stuff that came back, pushing that back into the previous fiscal year, so it's not in here. That's when I look at this, it doesn't show me much of what was spent in this year, but that was pushing those, giving those a September date.
Okay.
And the reason that we do that is we'll have to have a single audit this year because we spent more than 700, actually, that threshold changes $1 million now. But we spent more than $1 million in federal funds with the ARPA this year. And so if we can push all of that into one and get away with one single audit versus two, it's cheaper, one, and it's a lot less stressful on me and my staff, so we can get away with just one single audit, so.
Okay.
Oh, and I did write a note down here too. I did want to talk on sales tax. I wanted to touch on that a little bit too, because last year, I don't know if you remember me standing here and it was down quite a bit at this point in time last year. The month of October, what we received, we were up 75,000 from last year. In November, I just got those numbers today, we were up 48,000 this year. So overall, 125,000 on the year from where we were at this time last year, which puts us more in line with 2 years previous to this, but
That's
I just
good.
thought I'd pass that along too, so.
And offhand, what does that represent in percentage?
11% for the month of October, and I think 7.8 for the month of November. So. I just looked at that right before I came in here, that's why I knew that.
Okay.
It's not bad.
Yeah, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lane.
Okay, any other questions or comments on the financial report? Okay, can I have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve.
Get a second?
I'll second.
Okay,
Okay, McCarrigan? Yes. Phillips?
Yes.
Vidlac?
yes.
Solomon?
Yes.
Stricker?
Yes.
Okay, public hearings. So we have a couple of public hearings tonight, so anyone who wants to speak at the public hearing, if you could stand and raise your right hand so we can swear you in.
Courtney?
That would be
Courtney and Joe.
Joe.
Raise your right hand.
Do you swear and affirm that the statements you make tonight to the city council are true and accurate? Say, I do.
I do.
Okay, thank you. So the first one, council to conduct a public hearing set for this date at 6 p.m. to receive information regarding the Class D liquor license for Waheguru G Scottsbluff LLC, 323 East Overland, Scottsbluff, Nebraska. So we will open the public hearing. Is there anyone to speak on that?
Do you want to come up to the podium and tell us what you guys are doing and what your plan's gonna be, and it'll be very similar to the meeting you were at the other day.
We're, Harpreet Straw bought cigarette chain and is getting his liquor license to sell liquor. Sorry, I don't have any idea what I'm doing.
Why don't you go over your processes, checking IDs, your security measures?
We have, we check everybody's ID who comes in to buy alcohol from now on. We did some training for each of our employees, including myself. We have cameras that are monitored 24/7 on a remote site.
Yeah. What about your security as far as locking your overstock, things like that?
So our liquor is behind the counter, and then we have an office also where our overstock goes. That is not locked though.
Okay, all right, and every ID gets checked?
Yes.
Do you have any aides in the business that'll help employees determine age?
Not really. We just, if you look under 40, we're going to definitely card you.
And you have a born-on calendar? So,
Yes, I have the picture of that if you guys would like to see.
yeah, I'm
And I also have a note saying that they need to have their ID ready.
Why don't you show the council?
So,
yeah.
Okay.
You know, it'd probably be a good idea if you told them, the mayor and council, a little bit about your experience in the alcohol industry, so to speak, and how long you've been doing it.
I've been working in gas stations, liquor stores for 5 years now. I had a couple of stings come through and I've caught them, obviously. I mean, I don't know. Sorry.
But you're not brand new at this.
No, I'm not brand new
Yeah.
at this.
And you've been through the training yourself?
Yes, I have. For me and my other 2 employees, we did a little test online,
Mhm.
and we got a little certificate here for you guys to see if
Yeah.
you'd like.
Do you require that?
No, we don't, but they recommended it for us at the meeting last week, so I just went ahead and did it.
Okay, okay.
So all your staff have been through the training?
Yes.
And do your other staff have prior experience with selling alcohol?
Yes.
Okay.
They've been employed there for some time now.
Okay. Kevin asked you about the locks. That was one thing I saw through all the application materials. So the current stock that you have is not locked right now?
No, it's an office, so like, if I have to go into the office, it's just easier for me to go in the office to get the money that I need to get out, rather than locking it and knocking it, whatnot. But I probably suppose we could lock it.
Okay.
There's 2 of them here. One of them had a punch code. It must not be yours then to get into that
No.
area.
That'll be the next one.
So there was a prior issue that was in the materials here, but am I correct that occurred before you guys took ownership of
Yes.
before the transfer?
Yes.
Okay.
So the off-site monitoring, when that goes to wherever it goes, who gets notified? I presume the manager on site?
They would call the store directly right away, yes.
So I had a question for you guys on alcohol stock. Is it a state stipulation that has to be locked, or is that up to the business?
It's always just been a best practice.
Okay,
So,
that's what I wanted to clarify.
This is probably has another question for you, but it's been on numerous ones, but it just kind of struck me this time as on the application, it suggests that liquor managers or license holders are required to be registered voters. Is that?
that's part of the state application
The
process.
manager, this young lady will be the manager. They're required to be a resident. They
Okay.
suggest that you register to vote in the county in which the store.
The way it reads, it's almost like it's mandatory, but that's why I asked.
That's what we thought as well. I was already registered, but we registered myself, so.
I think, yeah.
Are there any,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
any issues that you found from the background check and everything?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now's a great time.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, Chris Brass. So as Courtney mentioned, Harpreet purchased the cigarette chain. So right now they're operating on a temporary license, and as far as backgrounds are concerned, everything that we found was disclosed, so there were no problems there, no automatic disqualifiers, anything like that. My concern was about a week and a half prior to the sale, we had multiple complaints about high school kids going in there and buying alcohol on the weekend. And that was brought to our attention by those kids' parents. And so when we went into the liquor license holder investigatory board meeting, we had asked about that, and we found that it happened prior to the sale. However, the staff is the same. And so even though the sale hadn't occurred, it was the same people that were working there at the time, so that was a concern of mine. Courtney did speak about one of the employees that had a compliance failure before, and she thought that it was probably that same employee that was the one that had been selling to the minors, and so that person is no longer employed. So Harpreet oversees 12 liquor stores in Utah, and he's never had a compliance failure, and so I think that that says something about how he's running those businesses. Another concern the board had was just they didn't have a clear policy on ID checking. The if you look under 40 kind of sort of doesn't work because the state of Nebraska says you have to card everyone no matter what. Brian Woods, the investigator from the State Patrol, was actually here for the meeting, and he had some reference material that I think was probably helpful. At that time, no one had, well, the employees hadn't finished their training and they did not have that clear policy. So that was the recommendation that the board made was contingent upon those things. I didn't hear Courtney talk about the policy, but I know they at least did their training. So I think that that's a step in the right direction. As far as location and parking and that sort of thing, I mean, we didn't have problems with that before. So I can't see a change just because of the ownership change. Do you have any questions for me?
Just a comment that I did see, and I have highlighted on the liquor board thing, the recommendation with stipulations, and I'll be making that part of an amendment if it's not included.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Anyone else have anything for the public hearing?
Well, I did have
Some
one.
questions? Okay.
So you've done the training. Do you guys have now a policy now in place, how you'll handle it if there are issues?
Yeah, I told my employees that they just need to card everybody, that's all that's to it. That's what we'll be doing from now on.
Okay. And the one staff member that was involved in the prior situation is no longer there?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for the public hearing? Okay, we will,
Mayor?
Yes.
If I-
Exhibits, we have exhibits. Kim, take it away.
We have exhibit number 1, the application of Waheguru G Scottsbluff LLC located at 323 East Overland in Scottsbluff. Exhibit number 2, the city council checklist. Exhibit number 3, the written statement of police chief. Exhibit number 4, the written statement of city clerk. And exhibit number 5, the written statement of development services.
And Mayor, just for clarity, the liquor license investigatory board made a positive recommendation contingent on them making those changes. Yes.
Okay. Okay. We will close the public hearing. Council to discuss and consider action on making a recommendation to the Nebraska Liquor Commission regarding the Class D liquor license for Waheguru G Scottsbluff LLC and naming Courtney Michael Robinson as the liquor license manager. Questions, thoughts, comments?
This is to make Courtney the manager on the liquor license. So,
I'll make a motion to make a positive recommendation since she's completed the request of the liquor commission.
Okay.
I would make sure, or offer amendment to make, no, this is on not enough.
we gotta,
Yeah.
first, you gotta,
We have to have a second
Oh,
to
sorry,
her
sorry.
yeah,
motion, right?
yeah, we have to have a second, then you can
Okay.
discuss.
Discussion, comments?
Now is it the time then? Okay, as we discussed a little bit, I'd like to offer an amendment to make sure that we follow the specific recommendations of the liquor licensing board to have in writing a clear carding policy that they will card at all times based on their recommendation.
So just getting that policy in writing, essentially.
Yeah. And I presume we have to have a acceptance of that, hopefully a friendly amendment from the mover.
We are under a time constraint with this. We have to get this back in 45 days. So, Jerry, I think it would be reasonable if you directed us to make sure that that happens.
Okay.
And we can take it from there.
Okay. So,
Sound
all
good?
right.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, Kim?
Phillips,
Yes.
Solomon,
Yes.
McCarrigan,
Yes.
Stricker,
Yes.
Vidlac.
Yes. Okay, council to conduct a public hearing set for this date at 6 p.m. to receive information regarding the Class A liquor license for Auto Plaza Joe Hessler Incorporated, DBA Auto Plaza 25 Avenue I in Scottsbluff, Nebraska. We'll open the public hearing.
Promise to be good this time.
So you want to tell us about your,
Okay, so I opened up a skills game area at Auto Plaza, which has turned into a very good business. You know, we run out all the trouble, meth heads, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, then I had customers, guests, I call them, request, maybe we can have a beer once in a while. I just want beer, I don't want no hard liquor or anything. So that's why I'm here now, is to get that. As far as storing my liquor, we have a locked office in there. It's locked 24/7. Only employees can get in there with the code. That's where State Patrol and I talked about putting it in there. As far as IDs, we're gonna have an ID scanner. We're Cardinal ready because you have to be 21 to gamble. So we're already doing all that right now. Go ahead, let me out.
You're on the roll, Joe.
Yeah. Mine's real simple. It's a really nice place. People want to have a beer.
But you have some stuff to talk about. You have cameras in the business.
I got
pretty
48 because Auto Plaza's there too, so.
Yeah.
We have a camera on every machine, all down the alleys. I even have a license plate camera. People drive by, it's got the license plate, you know. Actually, the police department uses my system if we need to track somebody down, so that's good. So we have cameras everywhere. We also have panic buttons. We have a direct link to the fire department. And we have an alarm that's set every night. So when somebody deactivates it, it's the last four of their phone number, so we know who actually did it. So if it comes in and somebody has their code, we know who did it, so that's a good thing. It's all lit up to, it's just, everything's just nice, so we just need to serve a beer, that's about it.
What are your hours?
8 till 11. On Friday nights, you know, it's 8 till 12, Friday and Saturday nights. But we're gonna cut liquor off at 11:30 on those nights, 10:30 during the week. So that's when last call.
Yeah, go ahead, Jerry. Okay, you had a diagram of the area with just kind of the general size of it. Is the gambling, drinking area, is there any way it's separated from the rest of the area?
It's in the same building, but specifically the game room is that area. Now, to have a gaming permit, I have to have every room attached to get square footage.
Okay.
So during the day, in my office, that door is open because I manage it during the day.
Okay.
So we have all the cameras in my office too. So when somebody walks in, we go greet, you know, give them water, donuts, whatever, and stuff. So that's a gaming law. To get it, we have to have every room attached. So yes, it's attached.
Okay,
But the drinking's only in that area.
okay.
Separate from the gaming?
No, it's in the
In
game.
the gaming area only, okay. You piqued my curiosity of the direct connection with the fire department. What's that mean?
Well, if there's a fire, it goes straight to the fire department. You know, my security system.
Okay.
So it'll alert the fire department. So. And if anybody breaks in, it goes straight to the police department too. So it's a good system that we have.
Okay.
And you've been through an extensive background to get the gaming permit.
Oh, that's worse than a liquor license, actually. Yeah, it took me 3 months. I'm going, am I going to jail? Did I miss something? You know, what did they find? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, they do tax fraud, back taxes, all fingerprints. They just do everything. Bank fraud. Yeah, it's quite a bit to get that. So.
Is your staff currently trained for doing the sales?
Well, I haven't really talked to my staff because I want to get this license first, so I'm going to just lay it out. But one used to work for Weberg and the other one works at Rax.
Okay.
So they're used to carding anyway, so.
Are you gonna have them do the training, Joe?
I think I have to.
Okay.
Because I got to make you guys happy for one thing. So it's not required
Right.
by law, but
Well, your answer made me happy.
I was happy here, right? So it's a good idea, you know, and if they don't want to do it, I guess they can just go find a job, so.
Other questions for Joe? Okay. Chief, do you wanna?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Good evening again. Joe, as far as the background is concerned, he disclosed everything. There's nothing exciting in there. I think that his situation is unique in the hoops he had to jump through for the gaming license. And so while he's not been, selling alcohol, just the checking the ID, that he's already doing that.
Right.
And then for his hours during the day, he's the staff, and then he has help at night. But he does have the resources for the training. He already has a strict policy for IDs. He's got a zero tolerance policy. So I don't think I don't see that changing, for alcohol. For gaming, it's a pretty big deal to get all of that. He does allow minors in the building, but they're not allowed to sit at the gaming tables. And then the 48 cameras, I think that's probably the most we've ever seen on a liquor application. They're very handy, great, but I just, I think
Find them.
I think that's more than adequate. And again, he's had the car lot there for quite a while. We don't have any issues over there. Generally, if there's a problem, it's someone running through his lot and he's pulling footage to help us find them, so.
Questions for Chief?
There was one in the application, I think it's just a typo, about the minors in the building. I think you meant not allow the minors to sit, but it says now in the
Yeah.
application.
Yeah.
But I think you meant not.
Okay, yeah, because when I talked to the liquor board, or Victoria and Lincoln, and the gaming, can I have minors come in there? They said, absolutely, even the state patrol, we spent a couple hours in there actually.
Okay.
So then, see, what's really good is that they're not bringing in kids like they were at first, because we do pizza. I'm sorry, did I take your spot?
No, you're fine.
Yeah, but come on out.
They would eat at a picnic table, why? Because we give free pizza away every Friday night, so the kids would eat pizza at the table and the parents would gamble.
Oh, okay.
See?
Okay.
So when they do bring them in, the kids are not allowed, and we're really strict about that. If they're even a little baby, you're not supposed to be at the machine, so I'm not gonna lose what took me 7 months to build. Because some minor, and they're starting to break down now too, the gaming is sending in stings on 21 years old, so they're actually doing it like, if you give us a sting under a minor, they're doing it now. See,
Okay.
so we're gonna be, you guys checking us and gaming, so.
Okay.
I have a zero tolerance, and I made some enemies, so it is what it is.
Okay.
So,
Okay, that helps.
yeah,
Thank you.
No, thank you.
we good? So go sit back down.
Anyone else?
You're good,
Comments? Comments or questions?
Chief, positive recommendation from,
Okay.
so,
Exhibits?
Yes.
Okay.
We have exhibit number 1, the application of Auto Plaza Joe Hessler Incorporated, doing business as Auto Plaza, located at 2425 Avenue I in Scottsbluff. Exhibit number 2, the city council checklist. Exhibit number 3, the written statement of police chief. Exhibit number 4, the written statement of city clerk. And exhibit number 5, the written statement of development services.
Okay, so we will close the public hearing. Council to discuss and consider action on making a recommendation to the Nebraska Liquor Control Commission regarding the Class A liquor license for Auto Plaza Joe Hessler Incorporated, DBA Auto Plaza, and naming Lawrence Hessler as the liquor license manager.
I'll make a positive motion to make a positive recommendation for it.
I'll second that.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Okay,
Stricker?
yes.
Vidlac?
yes,
Solomon?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
McCarrigan?
Yes.
okay. Petitions, communications, and public input. Council to discuss and consider action on choosing an option for the building plan at the property next to the plaza at 1722 First Avenue in Scottsbluff.
Mayor and Council, Megan Hayward, our architect on this project, is here. So Megan, if you would come up and give us some options and
Yes. Okay, so they asked me to look at this and I gave 4 options. The first is an addition to the building. The second is a separate building behind the existing. The third is a prefabbed option. And the last was to renovate the existing building. And with that, we took, looked at the pros and cons of each option. The first option was immediately kind of taken off the table. There's a lot of cons to it. Just because there's existing equipment over in that location, we don't really gain anything by touching the existing building. You run the risk of potential structural issues as we move forward with construction. It's more code, more electrical, like just, it's a lot messier. So we took option 1 right off the table right off the bat. Option 2 has some perks because building new construction, we can build the construction type to support the use, meaning we can make it really durable, we can make it easy to clean. I think one of the things you probably know as the council is our public restrooms in our parks sometimes get vandalized and they sometimes get really nasty because people are rude. And so just trying to cut down on what staff's gonna have to do. So by using types of construction, we can make it so it's really easy to go in there with this pressure washer and clean that baby from top to bottom, make sure we're using really durable fixtures, all of that. That would be option 2. The downfall to option 2, or not downfall, con, for option 2 is that it takes up a little bit of the parking. We'd have to remove the parking lot that's sitting there, not remove it, but remove some of that parking.
Maybe you can ask one real quick one on option 2.
Yeah,
What additional cost do you project if we had to?
I'll get to that.
Oh, that's
Get
coming,
ahead of me
okay,
now.
okay.
Patience is a virtue.
There you go.
So, option 3 is a pre-manufactured option. It's very similar to option 2. The downside to that is that it has to be brought in and set with a crane. The other downside to that option is we would be taking away the opportunity for local contractors and suppliers to provide for this project, which I'm not a big fan of. So. And then option 4 would be to renovate the existing building. As I noted, renovating the existing building would involve having to try to make it durable and easy to clean, and that's going to be more difficult in an existing space that wasn't designed for this intended purpose. Also, the space that makes the most sense for restroom access off the plaza also is over a basement. So if there's ever flooding, which has been known to happen in the public restrooms, they clog the toilet, flood it, we run the, and there's things we can do on the design side to offset that, but still, it's a higher risk than if we were to build separate on a slab on grade outside. So pros and cons, I gave you the actual list of pros and cons that we went through. But then on the very back side, and I apologize, there was a typo, I corrected it after the fact with my hand. But those are the breakdowns of cost. So like I said, option 1 was kind of thrown out, so I didn't even take the time to cost that out. But option 2 was the least expensive, which is the separate building. Option 3 is the prefab unit is actually cost more. Part of that is because they gave us a price for the prefab unit. I kind of priced it out, but we have to do a setup on the pad, the utilities, all that has to be done before they bring it in, and then you have to hire the crane to come in and set that. So there's an added cost there. And then option 4 was the existing building, and that was the most expensive option. The other thing about the existing building is it's not at grade, so we would have to build ramps to get up, whether that's inside or outside the building. On the scheme I have shown it's outside for the restrooms. The one thing I will say about option 4 is it includes more than just the restrooms, because it includes us fixing the entrance, so the entrance into that building, the main entrance into that building would be accessible. So that is something to take into consideration when you look at it. But I think there's maybe a better way to use that building besides the restrooms, and I think having the building was still a beneficial thing, because now we have the property we need to create those restrooms outside of it. But you guys have any questions or concerns that you want to ask me about?
Yeah, it seems that the option 4 remodel in the existing building presents some of those cons that option 1 does, perhaps even more. You know, with the structural issues and things like
Yes.
that. So
That's true.
I just, do you think that? Okay.
Yeah, it does present some potential for structural issues. Maybe less so than trying to do an addition outside. And the reason I say that is because when we do the addition, we would have to dig down to create foundations equal with what is existing. And so the closer we get to a building, trying to put a foundation right up against each other, that's a higher risk. But the bathrooms inside, I would say structurally, I'm less concerned structurally, but you're tying into a whole bunch of existing utilities. I don't know that we're sized appropriately for sewer and water to support this use. Whereas if we do a separate building, we can bring new water and sewer right there. It's right off the lot line, so it's easy to bring in its own service to that bathroom.
Thank you. I guess that's the perspective I was trying to portray, but didn't do a very good job.
I think you did a great job bringing the point up. Thanks for setting me up there.
How many parking spaces would be impacted under number 2?
There's
not a lot behind the building, but there's some.
It's not a lot, and the thing is, that wasn't used by public parking
Yeah,
leading up
it was
to now.
for
That
the
was owned by
staff.
the school,
Yeah.
and the
Right.
staff is using that. And so I don't think it's gonna be something that we let deter us from using that space. And all these options will take parking to a certain degree. This one takes the 8
Less.
or whatever spaces that are behind that building. You still have all the spaces that are to the south of the building, so. And there is a, city parking lot beyond that too.
Right,
Right.
yeah.
There's a whole lot more public parking lots in downtown Scottsbluff than my previous employers.
So what was the plan for if you do a separate bathroom? What's the plan with the existing?
That will be the next part of this, is to remodel that and make office space out of that. So to me, that's one of the cons of moving those bathrooms inside as well, is you're gonna take existing space out of there. And you might even have to recreate some of the bathrooms that are already there, it's possible. So initially, I think when we talked, we were kind of in favor of the bathrooms being in the building.
Yeah.
But my mind has certainly changed. I think we're better served with a detached set of bathrooms that are designed appropriately, easy to clean, very durable, and don't disturb the existing building. And then when we do go to remodel that existing building, we're gonna have more office space, and I think we'll end up with a better situation. That's my opinion.
And did we budget for that, the
These,
office building to be remodeled too?
these numbers are coming in a little higher than we had anticipated. So we will have some, and these are ARPA funds,
Okay,
so there will be some ARPA funds left over to put towards the remodel of that building. But we don't know what those numbers look like yet.
I haven't really dug into what the remodel could potentially be if we don't put the bathrooms in there, because I didn't wanna waste my time proceeding, and then you guys tell me, oh no, let's put the bathrooms in there, so, cause we started that conversation, so I can start putting together what those concepts might look like and the pricing, but didn't wanna put the cart before the
And I
horse.
think it'd be safe to say it won't be cheap. The front end of that building will have to become ADA accessible,
Correct.
and will be an expense, so,
So the ARPA funds will cover the bathroom
yeah,
and probably
Yes.
part of the. Okay.
yes, yeah.
I'll make sure I'm clear on that.
And maybe a good part, we hope, of the
Okay.
remodel.
how much did we set aside for the bathrooms? I forgot.
880
Okay,
for the whole project?
Okay,
so that would be,
not including the
probably gonna
purchase
be
of
more.
the building.
Yeah, the leftover would be spent or
Okay.
put towards the remodel.
Okay.
Megan, under option 3 here, the price breakdown, you forgot that it doesn't include heater installation for that one. Are the other options that's gonna be included in? Okay, thank you.
I have a couple questions, and it's related to the, the first one is easier to explain, I guess. As a previous public building, how did it not comply with accessibility under that scenario? Now suddenly, I'm not saying I don't want to, I'm just saying how.
Because of when it's built, it doesn't have to comply. If we do a certain percentage of renovation, then we would be responsible for bringing it up to code. And because you guys are a public entity, it is good practice to bring it up to code. Can
Agreed.
someone who's disabled get into that building? Yes, not through the main entrance though. It has to be through that side entrance that's off the parking lot. And so that's, if we were to use this building for public access, signing up for sports, public meetings, things of that nature, we would wanna make sure that building is accessible.
Yeah, so I guess my point is it sets it up for more possible uses in the future for the rest of the.
I would concur with that.
And then the other one was related, kind of related to the same. I did a tour with it with Kevin, and there's a pretty big basement, and I'm afraid that, I don't know what the plans are for that in the future, if any, but,
The one thing I would say about the basement is it's strictly limited on occupancy because there's one exit out of it.
yeah. So,
Well, it's kind of a curveball because we bought the building with the intent to put restrooms. So this is a switch, but money-wise, I see why it's better.
Yeah, the big, there were a lot of driving forces behind that. We had an opportunity to buy a property that bordered our plaza.
Right.
I mean, so we get to control what goes in there. So we do get to provide some downtown bathrooms, although they might not be in the building, they're gonna be right next to it. Unless we purchase this property, we wouldn't have that opportunity right now. We'd be looking for another solution, so.
I just see it as maybe that was the intent, but we seem to have found a better way.
Yeah. I think as long as we utilize the building, and we're just not letting it go to waste,
No,
but we have a positive use for it, then I'd be a lot better with it and doing the outside option.
We do have a plan.
Okay. Maybe on the back on number 4,
Yes, sir.
there's an elevation difference, so we'd have to put in a ramp for
Yes.
access.
Yes, and actually, I'm sorry, I didn't give you that option that shows the ramp, but I can pull my folder here, hang on. I gotta find the right option here.
Okay.
You can see right here. So
Oh.
you can come right off the plaza and
Yep. Okay, yep, that helps, thank you.
This one,
yeah, so if we remodel, this is the plaza up here.
so it's still taking away some parking.
Yes, it would take up 3 spots at least.
Yep, thank you, Megan.
Plaza right here.
Okay.
Other questions for Megan or Kevin, staff?
We would like to see this project move forward. We have to have the ARPA funds spent by December of '26. You know, so this is always a lengthy process by the time the project is designed, the bid specs are created, and we put it out for bid. And so it is a kind of a drawn-out process, so we would like to see a decision made sooner rather than later.
What would the timeline be? You know,
You say go tonight, tomorrow I make a call to finalize fees with my consultants. I turn my fee and my consultant's fee over to MC Schaff, who turns it over to you guys for approval, and then we go as fast as we can because time is of the essence.
right, because it'd be great to have this done before summer when the plaza
I see where you're
is.
going, Scott.
I think you're being optimistic. We might have a fee, I would hope we would have a bid by then and we are
Yeah.
in construction.
That's
which
actually
will
what I
present its
expected.
own
But I
issues, but figure it out.
optimistically was hoping, you know, but yeah.
You're being super optimistic.
I work with some contractors, yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
But no, I was just wondering on timeline, I didn't think that was a realistic
I think
timeline.
we will be pushing
Yeah.
hard to meet our deadlines.
On December 26th.
And so back just to the ARPA, how much remains to throw at this?
What we had dedicated to this was $880. There might be a little bit more than that in the ARPA fund, or,
Yeah, without looking at it, we're probably looking at 900,000 maybe right now.
yeah.
But is there, unless I'm missing the math, it's greater than options, except for one of them.
Well, the one option's 630.
6:30 and 7:38.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying if we have 880 some, I'm trying to make sure that there's ARPA funds there to do that first, and without trying to find some other sources of funding.
Yeah, there's about, if it does come in at 630, Jerry, there'll be about 260 left of ARPA fund to put towards the remodel of the building.
Or more than likely some unknowns maybe,
There's-
possibly.
Contingencies, yeah.
I put contingencies in there.
I don't know.
I mean, that's a pretty good contingency.
Well, okay, I'm glad you brought that up because I did want to say something because I was talking to Dave about the building and the way I have it shown today. And I told him, I was like, okay, we're probably gonna have to move it back because I found out there's a line running under there, like a sanitary line. And he said, let's just move the sanitary line. So again, that's an added cost I don't have in my stuff.
Isn't there
but
some big electric there too?
The electric we should be clear with the electric.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything running through there, but again, that's what surveys are for.
Okay. So, I don't know if you're looking for a motion or
Are
something.
you looking for, us to approve an option tonight?
Yes, we are.
Knowing we
And-
have all these other steps to go through.
Yeah, and I think staff recommendation right now is option 2, the detached.
Okay.
Well,
Building, not the prefab.
I'll make a motion to select option 2 to move forward.
Okay, do I have a second?
I will second that.
Okay, any, questions, comments on that? Okay,
McCarrigan.
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
Vidlac.
yes,
Solomon.
Yes.
Stricker.
Yes.
okay,
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you, Megan.
Thanks.
thank you. Council to discuss and consider action on a community festival permit for BDS 3C LLC DBA Flyover Brewing Company to park a food truck
Thanks,
in
Jim.
front of 1824 Broadway on November 28th, 2025 and December 26th, 2025 from 7 to 11 a.m. for the Eggs and Cakes Holiday Edition event.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. I seem to never leave you guys alone. I'm always asking for something. We came in March, maybe February? April, I don't know, a long time ago, to ask for festival permits for the year for our Eggs and Cakes event, which we were conducting on the third Thursday, which council approved, but we've kind of abandoned that because attendance hasn't been very good. But we'd like to change the dates of our November and December events to be the day after the holiday. Last year, we had a lot better attendance at those events, but we need your approval to park the food truck in front of the building. The truck, we usually use Rosita's. The truck is too long to park in a space, so it would have to park across the spaces on Broadway, those first 3 spots. And then we typically advertise to everybody, all the downtown businesses. We don't limit it that you have to be at Flyover to participate. We let everybody who's downtown shopping, come eat breakfast, stop by, grab something, whatever. Just encourage everybody to shop downtown. So, and the great thing Friday is Black Friday, so hopefully people will be participating. I wish it was on Saturday for Small Business Saturday, but we had really good turnout last year, the day after Christmas, so we're hoping the day after Thanksgiving and the day after Christmas, we can do it again this year and see some good participation.
Okay.
So just a trade of days, same show, different day.
Same show, different day, that's right. We got some fun things planned though. We're gonna do some mimosa flights. So do a little bit, so holiday themed.
Nikki, no issues.
No, other than our neighbor, no.
Any questions, comments? Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
I move to,
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any other comments or questions? Okay,
Vidlac.
yes,
Phillips.
Yes.
Stricker.
Yes.
McCarrigan. Yes. Solomon.
Yes.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys this evening.
Thank you. Okay, bids and awards. Council to discuss and consider action on awarding the bid for 4 new high-par shade umbrellas to be installed in the 18th Street Plaza to Crouch Recreation in the amount of $45,718.
The mayor and council, our parks director, Matt Carpenter. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so been getting a lot of requests for some shade in the plaza in the summer. We have a lot more events going on, so did a lot of research and a lot of looking at what might work in that space. Big structures didn't feel right, so I came up with the solution of these 4 hyper shade structures. They're basically like an umbrella, but a little better design and look a little nicer, I would say, and provide a good amount of shade. So they'll be 20 by 20 and then 15-foot entry height. So I didn't want to obstruct any views from back in the back of the plaza to the stage. So these should be high enough where they won't do that, and then still provide a good amount of shade. And I kind of provided a little area of where they would be in the plaza.
You had an image in there, is the top cloth?
Yeah, so it's like a fabric shade sail type cloth. It has like a 15-year warranty, I believe, 10 or 15-year warranty.
20-year,
Or-
limited
yeah.
20-year and then another 10-year.
Yep.
Okay.
And this also gives us the ability to take that down in the winter, so they aren't getting ruined in the winter
Sure.
when
Okay.
they aren't being used.
Okay.
Question I was gonna ask.
Any
That
idea
kind
on
of
the
answers
wind
my
load?
questions.
Wind load is 110, I believe, or something, at that height. It was a little
Gosh.
less. The higher, or the lower we go, the higher the wind load, but plenty of wind load for this.
So in the winter, just the cloth comes off and the rest of the structure
Yep.
stays there?
Exactly, yeah. These will be permanent structures within the plaza.
And do the arms fold down, Matt, or do they stay
They
up?
don't, they stay
Okay.
up like that. We could probably take the whole thing
Yeah.
down if we wanted, but I think they'll be
Sure.
durable enough where we don't
Yeah.
have to do that.
Just have to wait and see if there's any propensity to climb up the pole and hang on and swing around, I suppose.
And
Yeah,
Matt, whoever designed these, obviously considered like hail, because that's an issue here about every other
Yeah.
year.
yeah, and that's the one thing I talked to him about, and supposedly will be covered under the warranty.
Okay.
If that does happen,
Okay.
because they're supposed to be strong enough to withstand that.
Okay,
So I will hold them to that, because they know the area that we live in.
or rough area.
Yeah, very
I don't-
much.
I don't want to be presumptuous, none of this log stuff will be part of that in the photo.
What's that, sorry?
None of the log stuff will be
Oh,
part of
no.
that, okay.
No, that's just to show you the structure of the
Okay,
shade.
all right. But I am really having a hard time interpreting the plaza map. Looks like one's on,
Yeah, so
Concrete?
we have that northwest triangle, basically, lawn area that we're gonna put it in, which you see at the top there. And then down just south of that is the main lawn area, but towards the back, more, close to the alleyway. So it's not out in the middle. And then we'll also put one either in that other triangle or a little further south in that lawn area. And then over to the right is all of the picnic tables in that area, so we want to shade that.
so
Is there a-
3 in grass, 1 in concrete,
Yeah.
at least it shows.
And you,
And they'll all have concrete base foundations, so 6x6 approximately. So it'll be a large piece, but people can sit under there and stuff, so.
That's good.
And I assume we have the equipment to take down the tops as we need to.
Yeah, yep,
So
we have a
good.
bucket truck.
Okay.
we use. If you've seen the string lights, the height of
Oh, yeah,
those poles,
yep.
they're 15 feet, so that's about where they'll be.
Oh, okay.
So you
Okay.
can kind of get a reference there.
They look very cool.
Yeah,
How far away are the, I'll call it the west ones, from the other permanent structures there, to the left of the picture?
You have the whole alleyway and then probably another 10 feet or so, I think, till those fabric awnings over there. So quite a bit of space.
Oh, okay.
will this also be ARPA funding?
no,
No.
no.
Yeah, so this is actually out of the Oregon Trail Community Foundation Fund. It
Oh.
was made for the plaza and improvements to that
Okay,
area. So,
This is where the brick proceeds went to. There
Okay.
were a couple sizable donations into this account. It's sitting at around 60,000 right now.
Awesome.
So this is a perfect example of what it's for.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yep.
And this is probably one of the number one topics at
yeah,
plaza events is
every
shade.
event that's planned there is, can we get shade? Or can we bring in umbrellas? And it's not safe because they blow over and
Right.
there's a lot of issues
guys
with
out.
their own umbrellas.
Yeah.
Matt, I understand you're talking about the 15 feet height and not wanting to obstruct the view, but is that gonna be kind of detrimental to really providing more shade being higher up like
Yeah,
that?
it will limit it a little bit more. That's the one downfall
Yeah.
to that. I think with the timing of when events are and stuff, I think we'll be good.
Okay.
During the hottest part of
Sure.
the day, your sun's gonna be higher.
Yeah.
So it should provide enough shade there. Bands on Broadway, you might get more limited shade, but it should be cooling off at that time
Right.
anyway, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should be covered.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And, this, you did research other products and price other,
Yes, yeah, other companies even had these same type, structures, and, Crouch Recreation was the cheapest, and they're part of Buy Board, which is the same as Sourcewell, so it's a government bid price as well, so. I didn't include the other bids because of that, and they were higher anyway.
Where's Crouch Recreation at?
They're out of Omaha. Yep. And he comes out and visits quite often and stuff, so.
Cool.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
thanks, Matt.
Any other questions or comments on this?
I think it'll really help.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I think it's great.
Especially if that's the number one complaint.
Right. Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, thank you.
Phillips,
Yes.
Solomon,
Yes.
McCarrigan,
Yes.
Stricker,
Yes.
Vidlac.
Yes. Okay, council to discuss and consider action on the change order for the College Park Booster Station project in the amount of $19,732.57.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Doug Gomper, Public Works Director. So basically, this is for some extra work, had to do with power. MC Schaff wrote a letter in there kind of explaining it. They kind of had to change the course with how power was delivered to it, so. And it'll be for $19,732.
So instead of overhead, it's underground,
Correct,
coming from
yes.
a different
Yep.
direction than initially was anticipated, so.
Yep.
So we're probably better off.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
being
underground way
underground.
better. Yeah.
Always better off underground.
Okay.
Almost always, you never say always.
And this will bring this project to a conclusion.
Yes, they're gonna turn it on and have some training next week, I believe, and get it fully operational, so.
I think this has been going for over the whole time since I've been interim. This has been on the list.
Yes, I actually worked on it on my previous job, so.
We're ready to be done
And I
with
think
it.
this booster pump's gonna tie a low side
Yes.
into the high side, and it's gonna be an opportunity to bring a well online that hasn't been for a while, so it's a good project, it's just slow.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments for Doug? Okay,
That helps.
thank you.
Hang on for the next one.
Do I have a motion to approve the change order?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Yeah.
Solomon,
Yes.
McCarrigan,
Yes.
Stricker,
Yes.
Vidlac,
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
Okay, council to discuss and consider action on awarding the bid for 2 new 1-ton trucks with platform bodies and hoists for the Public Works Department to Fremont Motor Company for the amount of $120,674.64.
Okay, so this one was a little bit new. We actually got 5 bids for this pickup, 2 of them out of town, and the lowest one was from Fremont Motors out of Lander for $120,674. They're almost $10,000 cheaper than any of the others. And these come fully equipped, the box, everything's already on them. And they will replace, I think, the 2 oldest gold trucks we have. So no more gold trucks.
And they're old.
Yeah, I think 99.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
These
They've been
just
good ones.
general duty, or they have snowplow
Yeah,
on them?
no, they're just the workhorses for patching, hauling material, because they have a hoist on them, so. Yep.
Okay, any questions on this? Comments?
We did look at these very closely, and this is the same truck. It meets all the bid specs. We're looking at apples and apples.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you do with the old ones? Did you trade them or just gonna keep them?
Unless another department wants them, we'll probably sell them at the auction.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Doug.
I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any other questions or comments? Okay,
Stricker,
Yes.
Vidlac,
yes.
Solomon.
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
McCarrigan.
Yes.
Okay. Reports from staff, boards, and commissions. Council to conduct annual evaluation of city manager's job performance. So I'd like to just start with saying we plan to look at Kevin's contract hopefully at the next meeting in December.
Yes.
So we visited about not necessarily addressing any wage conversations tonight and wait till we do look at the contract. We have some adjustments we need to make to that, correct?
Right. We really need to move me over to a more traditional city manager contract.
Yeah.
Right now, there's language about being the police chief and stuff in there, so it's time. Probably should have been done before now, but we'll get to it next meeting.
Okay.
So yeah, I've asked that you don't consider any wage increase or anything like that. We can consider it at that time.
Okay. So would anyone like to start sharing their thoughts or comments about their evaluations?
Well, I guess if the person that goes first is the guinea pig, they have some grace in their stuff, I suppose.
Did you say
No,
great?
the reason I say that, I just want to preface it with, that, you know, was involved in receiving and giving evaluations for 40 years in municipal government. And this particular aspect of it is very foreign to me, of doing it out of the confines of the personnel things in a private office, so bear with me. And also, in the place I did these, we abandoned this, to me, somewhat subjective process of 1 through 5 in 2000, so that's a little bit different for me too, and I think it might have reflected a little bit in how I scaled compared to others, so enough of that. So to the narrative parts of it, I have a few notes attached to that. And the first question that we answer is, what would you identify as a manager's strength or strengths expressed in terms of the principal results achieved during this rating period? I didn't have any performance standards or things to compare this to, because I think that the packet didn't have like the job description and all of those things, and you can kind of generalize that. In fact, I looked on Google a city manager's job description. That was kind of what I had to use, and it's pretty common stuff. But anyway, to the meat of it, I think that some of the strengths is you keep a pretty good eye on the finances of the city and keep us abreast of those things and potential trends. Now, that's not easy to do, but so for example, we always have these comparisons with other places and reports on through the finance report, but the sales tax, which is a big driver and a big variable, you know, the property taxes and stuff are pretty, relative to sales tax, are pretty, secure is not the right word, but predictable, I guess. Yeah. And so, I think that, you know, and then kind of giving us the perspective of why there might be this bump in certain years, and the mention of the hailstorm that we might not think about, that probably was a huge thing. So it's good to have those examples. You know, part of when I did this, I've had less than a year of working in this role with you, and everything was up until about a month from now is going to be new. And so so I had to rely on talking to some of the chairs of the boards and commissions, or anybody that would talk to me, the contract engineering services, and there's most of those, nearly all of them, said that they were that one of your strengths in terms is in engaging when asked, and just the general knowledge of the issues that they deal with and providing that level of support. I think one of the very specific issues that is a strength is, although it might be an anomaly in my 1 through 5 thing, is the working with other entities and actually trying to keep things to the forefront, the landfill thing. The timing to me is I'm usually a half glass full guy, but I'm kind of a glass half empty on this one, just because of the time and the amount of things that we're doing. And so I appreciate the keeping our partners engaged and motivated on our behalf, but on the behalf of everybody. And I think working with them on the landfill was a key one. And then, of course, with the senior center that we just listed for sale, that partnership, utilizing the partnership with Gearing and having the support to help them maintain a decent center that we can use. And I think the recent data you gave suggests that it's pretty close to a 50-50 use between Scottsbluff and Gearing residents. So I think that was a plus. So on the performance areas that I would identify as most critical for improvement, these are all relative to something, I guess, but I would say that this shouldn't be a secret. I mean, I think we've talked about these things for, I go visit with Kevin regularly, almost weekly, but I try to not get too much. And so, I think just engaging more of the boards and commissions on help. They're an extension of us, and that just helps us to do work better. And at least one of those said that they would like to boards would like to have more direction, purpose, and maybe even budget. The example is the Community Redevelopment Authority, and I think you recognize that because at more than one occasion you said that we haven't unlocked the potential for that. And so that's what I mean, is I think getting that going might be good. And then one of the more specific things about boards and commissions, and I've mentioned this to some people, but probably not everybody, is I think the concept of I don't want to just keep adding boards and commissions, but I think the concept, we've talked about community engagement. I think maybe a focus of that in my mind, because it's everything usually revolves around funding in budgets, and that's what people usually are most concerned about, whether it's funding with the word taxes used or whatever the case may be. But maybe consider engaging us in conversation with the possibility of having a citizens budget advisory committee. And I say that because in my first budget workshop, there was nothing wrong with it, but it seemed like it was staff came together and gave all of these things that presumably were the priorities of things. And I think to get a little bit more buy-in at large instead of the Monday morning quarterbacks that might disagree, is if there's citizens that can engage with staff to kind of listen to those plans or ideas that they have for the year, it just lends another layer of citizens that say, yeah, this is a pretty good thing, instead of just in a several hour period, it seemed like, workshop that we get that and say, yeah, that's good. It just gives a little more involvement. So that's just conceptually that I would talk to you more about, just to consider. I don't know if it's good or not, but it's just an idea that I think is useful. And so probably enough on that part. So so the next question is, what constructive suggestions or assistance can you offer the manager to enhance performance? And I think that on one of the last weeklies, you discussed all of the opportunities you had at the ICMA conference, International City Manager Association. And our city was part of that, and we even took advantage of some of those, even down to the department level, the department head level. Not certainly city manager stuff, but I encourage you to keep doing that because it's a valuable organization, I think. The other thing is kind of in relation to that, what I talked about with the budget workshop and the budget advisory committee. I think that maybe to help inform how you develop the budget, I think it would be, and this is kind of a little narrative on us too, is that maybe we consider at some point, perhaps like when we have a fifth Monday that's strategically good, like say March or somewhere where it's getting to start thinking about the next budget, is if we can have some kind of a session where we openly discuss strategic plans or work plans, and then that also in turn kind of will turn into something we can better do this process on and measure against for the next time. And that's just as, and I know that we'll have other documents that will help drive those. For example, when we get the updated comp plan, right. Safe Streets for All. But then so we get all of this smorgasbord of things and this smorgasbord of money. And so then what's the priorities? And so that's kind of what I mean by that strategic planning thing. And then this one is probably different than most. The last thing that I think is constructive is that with your two roles, I've told you before, I don't know how anybody could do that. But now that you're here, I know that a couple times you've mentioned to us, and not in any bad way, that taking a couple days off here and there. It's probably used, and it's probably tagged on to the end of a conference or something like that. But man, I used to be kind of the same way until I started actually taking like some vacation, and then I was able to recharge and felt much better. So I'd encourage you to consider just taking some and disengaging and getting recharged if you, or that's just my opinion, of course, but
thank you, Jerry. I appreciate it.
So, and then last, what other comments you have for the manager for priorities and expectation? Mine is just to continue to engage with us collectively as openly and as transparent as much as possible here at this table, at this setting, for everybody to hear. And so I got to thinking how to do that and prioritize without adding extra bulk and layer of meetings, if you will, I guess. That we in some areas when we do have the general public comment, it's like we only can consider for future agenda items. But maybe on this last one that we have on ours that talks about reports of what we attended or whatever, just getting kind of some process where we have the ability to say, I'd like to maybe have us start thinking about X, and if we get like I don't know what the number is, two of us or three, to say, yeah, that's something I think it's worth talking about sooner than later, or maybe down the road. Just it's more process, and so that kind of summarizes, I guess, my narrative piece that I would say, and I certainly look forward to any discussions with giving some context to some of these things more, if you so desire.
Yep. Thanks, Jerry.
Who else would like to share or go next?
I would go next. My wife would tell you I'm a man of few words most of the time, and my evaluation kind of goes along that same line. Kevin, I think you do a really good job, working with your supporting staff. letting them make the decisions that are appropriate for them and backing them up and standing by them. That's the biggest thing that I've noticed for you, just working with you in the last year. I really didn't have any performance areas I would say critical for improvement. I think you're doing a really good job, again, just working with the staff and trusting them. Constructive suggestions, I would just say continue with your current practice, maintain communication with the staff. Other communities in the area, I think you do a really good job of that as well. And I think you do a really good job of looking at what's best for our community. We've talked multiple times about things and being fiscally responsible for our constituents and sticking with that. I think you do a good job with that. Other comments I would have, I just appreciate your leadership, your willingness to talk and discuss issues. And I know when we talk, I don't ever feel pushed in any one direction. We have some really good communication.
Yeah. So. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it.
I'd just like to say that we've worked together for quite a while. I appreciate your strength of being open-minded and considerate. That's with your staff, the community, and the council. I think you do a really good job of listening to everybody's opinions and ideas. But at the same time, you make the decisions that are in the best interest of our community, which is very important. You're very independent, which is nice, and you follow through in a timely manner on any requests that are made of you. And you've been very patient with, I know with the changes in council every 2 years and that it can become a little overwhelming. So in educating everyone in their roles, I didn't find any areas that you need to improve in. I think you do a really good job. I also think that with your skills that you've obtained over the years in both the role as the police chief and the city manager, you've done great in making the best decisions for the community as a whole. And I feel confident in those decisions, and I don't feel that I need to challenge it. Just focus on new improvements, infrastructure, and economic development for the community. I think you have the right staff in the right seats and positions. They always say you have to have the right people on the bus. Yep. And I think you have that, and that's what's made Scottsbluff successful, and will continue to do that. So
thanks, Jim.
Keep it up.
Yeah, thank you. Yep.
Anything you want to add, Matt?
Let's see. I think in the last 3 years, I've seen you grow as city manager. You seem a lot more comfortable. And from a council standpoint too, I see the process now a lot more, and a lot of it's the budget, and you seem a lot more comfortable with it. And from a council standpoint too, it makes a lot more sense, but it takes a while because it's overwhelming. So I didn't really see any critical issues or any downfalls in your performance. I just would continue just to say self-evaluate. So, I mean, you're a police chief forever, and you just know when to fix your own things that have not gone smoothly and when you need to correct things. And that's probably your biggest key. And lean on your staff. I put Kim in there and, your other staff you have, but they'll help guide you if you're stuck in places, and just always be willing to ask for help. And we have good legal help, and we've got a good team to work with.
We do.
His ears perked up.
There we go. For priorities and expectations, landfill's the big one. I mean, that came on us a little faster than we were expecting, and so we just keep working on that. And I'd like to open up LB 840 money more if we can to other opportunities. We have it available. I kind of believe in that share the wealth idea. If we have it available, we'll help as many as we can. And then I know the Highway 26 is just a pain, but if we can get any traction on that to improve things, I know I've said that for 3 years, but.
I think we're getting closer.
Okay. If nothing else, we can fix our own streets, our own intersections, so that's something we could do.
Yeah.
And that brings, I think, to the last part, which is our strengths. So coming from the federal side with the Park Service, I think a big strength we have is we're so much faster. When we see something broken, we have the staff and the knowledge, and we can fix it fairly quickly. So it just doesn't stagnate, which was always irritating.
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge strength we have. And maybe financially, we can't always fix everything, but even the little stuff matters.
Right, yeah, thanks, Matt.
Well, you have all of our evaluations, so you can read all of them, so I'll just
Yeah.
highlight a couple things as well. I think, I don't have any concerns with anything either. I think you do a really good job, and I've enjoyed getting to work with you and, get to meet with you and kind of go through things in detail and learn more. I don't have any concerns with processes or how we're doing things. I think, they're very involved. I think you utilize your staff well. I think you take feedback very well. Like if there is something that's like, oh, let's look at this or adding this, you dig into that and figure out, we've changed some applications and just different, administrative things. You handle issues and complaints, very timely, and that's something that I think is important. And then you've just led a lot of projects and got a lot of things pushed through.
Yes.
So that's good to see. So.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot done 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you for what you do for the city.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Just a few thoughts. I want to thank you all for your wisdom and support. It's invaluable. You've heard me say this many times. I think we're all pulling in the same direction, and I think that makes a huge difference. Clear down, and I probably don't think the boards and commissions often enough, but they're an important part of our process. So in a minute, I'll introduce you to a new one. Staff, they're responsible for just a big part of our success. I think they make us all look good, Just a few things. Transportation was in here painting this building last winter because there wasn't a lot of snow to move. They were over at the police department painting that building. That's a good crew, and they stay busy. But you could say that about parks. Our parks looks phenomenal. The lieutenant governor during a meeting this past summer complimented us about our parks. He told us that he thinks he can tell a lot about a community by looking at their parks. And I think he's right, and our parks look really good. All of the changes, transportation, Doug just passed his superintendent test, so he smiled for about a week. So that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool accomplishment. Elaine over at the library. I hope they feel like they're an important part of the city. And I hope that heater works all winter. And then the air conditioner comes on and cools it off in the summer. Jerry, I think you're right about, we haven't unlocked the potential of CRA yet, but Development Services has stood up code enforcement to where it's noticeable and it's a good process. It is. And I really see that as kind of step one, building up to possibly a land bank. That's going to be worthy of consideration, but I think we have to kind of build up to that and make sure we have all of the pieces in place so that it's efficient and effective, and we're doing all we can. Little talk about landfill tonight. I think one of our big goals should be to keep our rates as low as we can for our community. Whether it's the mill levy, it's economic development and making sure that we have the retail here for the sales tax revenues, to our sanitation and utility rates. We need to do what we can to make our rates as cheap as we possibly can. You're going to hear me say this a lot, but we're about to have the lowest mill levy in the state with 0.178. Now, you've heard some conversation about some communities grabbing some of their growth, and we haven't done that for 3 years. It's been the same tax ask as far as property tax goes for 3 years. We have not taken any growth. We've been fortunate enough to be able to get that done through sales tax revenues. So I'm grateful to all of staff, public safety, Chief Brass, Chief Shingle. Everybody's doing a great job. So if I seem successful, it's because of them. It's because of you. So I appreciate the review, I do, and thank you guys.
Mayor, there's always a risk when then there's another set of comments. The one thing that I did miss that you reminded me of that I think is worthy is the ARPA funds, you know. When I first saw that, and the vast majority, if not all, went to like recreational type things and parks. At first, I didn't know what to think of it. Then I thought, you know, that's got to be pretty genius because it's something that you don't. It's a one-time thing, and you don't want to get accustomed to that to doing your basic services. No. So I think that was a damn good move, if you ask me. So
thank you, Jerry. To be honest with you, there was some pressure to just dump that into an infrastructure project and move on down the road, and I truly viewed that as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do some things that we just haven't been able to do with our parks. And
that's why I mentioned it.
Well, thank you for bringing that up. So.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, council reports, informational only. This item is intended for council members to update and inform other council members of meetings attended since the last city council meeting. Does anyone have any reports to share?
Do you want to introduce your?
Yeah, absolutely. Jacqueline DePure is going to, DePure?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yep.
Yep. Is going to be on our library board, so Jacqueline, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to be on the library board.
Well, I'll give a little bit of background. I'm somewhat from the area growing up. I grew up on a cattle farm ranch operation about 35 miles southwest of Scottsbluff near Huntley, Wyoming. And I moved back here in 2019 because my father was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. And I was fortunate enough to get a position with Western Sugar as their environmental coordinator, and I have since moved on to being their environmental manager for both the Scottsbluff and the Torrington facilities. So I do all the air permitting, water waste, all the great stuff, compliance, regulatory stuff. That being said, when we moved here, I had a 3-year-old, and we became very involved in the library at that point in time, and we've really enjoyed what that offers for our community because we moved from Denver, Colorado. We lived in Littleton. We liked where we lived. It was a great community, but our library, our local library, was 25 minutes away from us, and it was a feat to get there. And so, since we've been here, we've been able to be involved with many things between story time, the after-school Lego programs, or the Lego programs, the summer reading, the adult reading programs, which I've been involved in, the Marker Maker Hub, excuse me, I always call it Marker because of all this stuff, but the Maker Hub, which my son has enjoyed greatly. And since then, we've actually added another addition to our family. I had a daughter in 2022, believe that one or not. Same year my father passed. And she now loves the library. So I'm really excited to be able to be a part of the library on the side of helping it grow and achieve what it can. I'm very comfortable and familiar with budgeting, personnel, regulations, all that wonderful stuff. So I'm really hoping I can add some stuff for you guys there at the library to help it move forward in the right direction.
Awesome. Well,
yeah. Well,
so in other words, you only live 3 blocks from the library.
I do. I actually do.
Littleton.
Oh, in Littleton, yeah.
It takes you 25 minutes to go through.
I only live 3 blocks from right here, and it takes me just a few minutes, and I can walk there. In Littleton, yeah, we were down by Chatfield State Reservoir, and I mean, you had to cross highways. There was no walking there. It was oof.
Well, welcome aboard.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Very impressive resume, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there going to be a whole section designated to chemistry now?
Yeah.
Well, I did bring up something a while back on some presentations that I was hoping that maybe we could do it. I don't know how much participation we'll get from the public, but all right. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Any other reports from anyone?
I got one last quick one I can do with you. And you get to see something. Yep. So I went and met with Kai and the zoo staff, and the animals are real active. It's warm and everything's going well. A lot of their animals, they've had some new ones, Raj, the 2 hyenas, and the 2 mountain lions. But they've also got another problem that you don't see in the video, which a lot of the other animals are getting old. So they've had to be proactive, and they're searching out some new animals. The squirrel monkey is now by himself. The other squirrel monkey passed away last month, just old age. A lot of these animals came in the early 2000s. So this is Reese. He's a lone member. They tend to operate in groups, so they had already started looking for a replacement or some new monkeys to work with them. And so that's already in the process. There's a zoo on the West Coast that they've reached out to, and they're working out the final details. So right now, Reese is on his own, but because they're social, they've had to do a lot more enrichment and a lot more interaction with the keepers and the monkey, just to, you know, keep it steady until they can get the extra animals. And they have some other animal projects in the works, but they're on the early stages. But the empty spaces in the zoo, they know about them and they're working on them.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Just to tag on to that a little bit, Kai did reach out to me and offered to help us train our animal control officers. So
Oh, that's
I
good.
think that's a great opportunity
Oh, yeah.
for our animal control officer and to get to know the zoo a little bit.
Mhm.
Too.
Sure.
So,
Any other reports?
Well, last Thursday, I went as the B Squad to the Western Nebraska Economic Development thing, and and I'd already talked to Kevin, but last year about this time, they wanted to start talking about like a government expo, mostly in light of, with a focus on filling youth jobs, summer jobs, part-time. But they want to do that, of course, but then expand to like government career jobs with the idea of what the opportunities are around here and get youth to maybe stay here. And it's targeted to juniors. And so they just wanted a commitment that they don't have the program put together yet, but it's kind of visiting all of the different departments and kind of what their background and education is that helps them be successful and necessary and all of those things. And so it's kind of a pilot with for Scottsbluff and Gearing to do, instead of trying to gather everybody from Panhandle wide and get them to see how it goes and then make it a kind of a program and scalable to some of the smaller communities. Baird and Bridgeport, for example, talked about doing it. So anyway, that's supposed to be the last week in March, and reminds me I better send that to Jordan. That says yes, you said we can support that. So that was it.
Okay.
Anything you have, Kevin, you want to share?
no, my brain is fried.
Yeah.
I don't. Just thanks again for the good review. I really appreciate it. So
Well, thank you.
it'll keep me going for a little while.
Good. Okay, if there's nothing else, then let's go ahead and, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting? I can't just do that on my own.
I'll move to adjourn.
I will second.
Okay, you.
Kerrigan. Yes. Phillips.
Yes.
Vidlac.
Yes.
Solomon.
Yes.
Stricker.
Yes.
Okay, meeting adjourned.